Manhunt still underway in Maine. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. An intensive manhunt is still underway for the suspect in Wednesday's shooting rampage at a bowling alley and a restaurant that left at least 18 dead and 13 injured in Lewiston in Maine, according to authorities. Robert Card, 40 years old, is facing an arrest warrant for 18 counts of murder and should be considered armed and dangerous, the police said. And this man is very well trained. He's a certified firearm instructor and a member of the U.S. Army Reserves, according to law enforcement. Police are urging residents to shelter in place and report any suspicious activities to authorities. The entire city of Maine has been shut down. There are no movements on the street. Everybody locked up inside their homes. The horror began about 7 p.m. Wednesday in the city of Lewiston, where authorities said that Carter opened fire at Just-in-Time Recreation, then later at Samaji's Bar and Grill. Wednesday night's massacre appears to be the deadliest mass shooting in the United States this year. It is also the worst since a gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers at a school in Uvalde in Texas last year. Overall, at least 566 mass shootings have happened this year across the country, with 4 or more people shot, excluding the shooter, according to Gun Violence Archive. Over in Jamaica, Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Wednesday handed over 32 new housing solutions to beneficiaries of the Shrewsbury housing development in Petersfield, Westmoreland. The solutions built under the National Housing Trust Labor and Small Material Program form Phase 2 of the project. They comprise 58 service lots and 32 houses, including 14 one-bedroom units and 18 studio apartments. Holness presented keys to 25 of the 32 beneficiaries at the official handover ceremony. In his address, the Prime Minister indicated that 7 units have been reserved for public sector workers and individuals with disability, emphasizing the government's commitment to providing equitable housing opportunities for all Jamaicans. 2 Haitian women who were being held in the Santa Cruz police lockup in St. Elizabeth after they pleaded guilty to illegal entry are to be moved to another facility following complaints by their attorney. Attorney Thomas Levine said that his clients 43-year-old Micheline Andemeti and 37-year-old Odanet Yestal, who are seeking asylum, were being kept in lockup which was declared unfit for use by authorities. On Wednesday, Mr. Levine sought an explanation from the court for the basis on which the women remain in custody at that cell block. The lockup was ordered closed in late August following an inspection by a representative from the Ministry of National Security. And with the intervention of senior officers, steps have now been taken for the females to be removed from the Santa Cruz lockup to an approved facility over the weekend, Mr. Levine disclosed. The women told the court that they have been living in Jamaica for several years and they are in stable relationships and have initiated steps to seek asylum. Stanley Douglas, a murder accused who has been languishing in custody at the Governor General's pleasure for 43 years, is to be released in the custody of his relatives. Mr. Douglas, who was deemed not fit to plea, was never convicted. High Court Judge Justice Leighton Pusey made the order Thursday afternoon in the Home Circuit Court following applications by the Legal Aid Council last year that Mr. Douglas, who is close to 80 years old, will be monitored by the Department of Correctional Services. Meanwhile, the Clarendon police are continuing their probe into the murder of a Jamaican Canadian whose body was found with gunshot wounds in bushes in Salt River, Clarendon on Tuesday. The deceased is 43-year-old Merrick Ayres, otherwise called Owen, a resident of Paddington Terrace in St. Andrew and Ontario in Canada. Along with his brother, Ayres is co-owner of the Diners Corner, a restaurant selling authentic Jamaican cuisine in downtown Toronto in Canada. Reports are that about 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, Ayres' body was found with what appear to be gunshot wounds to the head and other sections of the upper body in bushes in Salt River. Meanwhile, gunmen struck in Salt Spring in St. James yesterday afternoon, leaving a man and a woman dead. The victims were fatally shot in front of the Salt Spring Primary School, causing panic among the student population. And it's reported that the couple was traveling in a taxi from their home in Flower Hill when on reaching a section of the Salt Spring Main Road, they were taken out of the vehicle and shot by unknown assailants. Acting principal of the school, Trudy Ann Taylor, said that it was a traumatic experience for teachers and students. She said in terms of the children, they were nervous and panicky. Some children even peed and defecated on themselves because of the trauma. She said teachers and students sought shelter under desks while the gunshots were being fired. St. James has recorded more than 150 cases of murder since January, the highest in the country. Meanwhile, one of the accused charged in the abduction and murder of 10-month-old Saraya Palwell and her mother, 27-year-old Tashana Pattison, has pleaded guilty. The defendant pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder when he appeared before the Home Circuit Court yesterday afternoon, and he's to be sentenced on November 15. Leota Bradshaw, her cousin Ronald Balford, and Richard Brown and Roshan Miller are all charged in the murder. 10-month-old Saraya and her mother were abducted from their home in St. Andrew on Saturday, September 9th. Their burnt remains were later found in a section of East Kingston. Prosecutors had reported that Bradshaw, U.S. Navy petty officer, allegedly planned and hired hitmen to execute Miss Pattison and her daughter, who is fathered by East Kingston and Port Royal Member of Parliament Philip Palwell. And it was revealed that Miss Bradshaw offered $500,000 for their assassination. On to sports. Manning Cup second round will kick off tomorrow with 8 games with all the top teams fighting to the last minute, and we'll have those results for you on Monday. While Jamaica Premier League is also ongoing this Sunday, and we'll have those scores as well on Monday. But in the Costa Cup, the 3 former champions, including current holders Clarendon College, have been drawn in what appears to be the toughest of 4 groups in the round of 16 in the Costa Cup football competition that is set to kick off tomorrow. Cornwall College and St. Elizabeth Tech will join Clarendon College and Mile Gully in Group 1 as the competition is expected to rev up as they get to the business end of the season. 16 schools, including 4 with perfect win records and 7 former champions and first-time qualifier Taki High, qualified for the round of 16 after negotiating their way through the second round that was completed on Wednesday. Clarendon College are one of the 4 schools who are still to drop points and will start favorites from Group 1. Manchester High and Happy Grove, both with their perfect win records still intact, will meet in Group 2, while Dintil Tech, the 4th team with a perfect win record, heads Group 3 that also includes Giant Killers, Christiana High, and Magrat High. Group 4 could also provide some fireworks with the likes of high-flying Garvey Masio and Glen Muir, as well as Froome Technical, all in the hunt for places in the D-Cup quarterfinals. Port Antonio High, who advanced on away goals over back-to-back semifinalist Manning School after they finished tied at 2-2 after Manning's won Wednesday game 2-1 after losing the first leg 1-0 on Saturday. William Knibb Memorial are back into the round of 16 for the 3rd straight season, but they had to dodge a bullet after first qualifying 3rd in their group. William Knibb eliminated last season's beaten finalist Central High, who had also climbed out of a massive hole after losing their first 2 games by 10-1 aggregate, then picking up 16 points for the next 6 games with 5 wins and a draw. Dintil Tech and Magrat High will renew acquaintances after playing against each other twice in Zone J in the first round, with Dintil winning both games 3-1 and 2-1 respectively. So they put these 2 back in the same group, and it's going to be a ding-dong battle. Don't forget that the best Manning Cup and the Costa Cup results take place on this radio station, and if you ever miss the news on this station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted News. Listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.